let's easily set up a inventory management system here in Excel to track the inflows and the outflows of the products that we have and automatically generate a purchase list based on the threshold for each one of the items that we have. And of course, we can also have here the current stock balance based on the inflows and the outflows. So let's take as example here the laptop. As we can clearly see, laptop has 25 units in stock. So I don't need to buy because the threshold is equal to 10 and 25 is greater than 10. But let me go back here to the first spreadsheet and let's say I want to register here a sale that I did in January 2nd. I sold a laptop, 22 units for $2,000. Enter. If I go back here to the balance, as we can notice right here, laptop now is equal to 3 units in stock and the minimal stock level is equal to 10. So it needs to appear here in the shopping list. So if I click in this table and then go to Analyze and click Refresh, as we can notice, laptop is going to automatically appear here. So let's take a look step by step from scratch. How can we create this automatically system in Excel? So let's go. Let's start with the inventory inflows and outflows. So here where I have the sheet 1, I want to right click here and go to rename. This sheet right here is where I'm going to have the inventory, out and inflows. Enter. The informations that are very important to me are the ones such as the date, the product name. I also want to have here the quantity and maybe the type that it can be to tell us what about the transaction, if it's a input or if it's a output. And another information that is very important maybe is the value. Let's go here to the date. Let's say in January 1st of 2025, I purchased the item A, 10 units, let's say. And the value is equal to $9.99. And in the same day, January 1st of 2025, I sold the item A, let's say 3 units for $15. Okay, let's select those two values right here and then go to the Home tab. And here into the number tools, I can click on this $sign. Okay, like this. Now let's select everything that I have and align in the middle and in the center. And then I can go to Insert and then click on Table. Make sure you have this checkbox right here, mark it. Okay, so my table has headers and then okay. Now we have a table in Excel and just one information that is missing here is the type, because instead of manually input in or out, I want to create here a list, a drop-down list using a data validation. So let me get rid of both of those informations and then I can go to the Data tab and here to the right I can click on the data validation and allow any value. Instead of using this, I want to use list. So let's say as a list, I want to have in, comma, and out. Okay, let's click OK, and yeah, that's it. So now I have a very simple list in Excel that is going to appear whenever I have a new row. So let's add here a new row with new information. January 2nd of 2025, enter. I purchase here a new item that is the item, or let's use something different, laptop, enter. 5 units that I purchased for $1,000. Okay, that's it. So here I can register all the inflows and outflows of my stock. So we're done with this spreadsheet right here. Now we can move on to the second step, that is to create a new sheet where we want to have the balance in the purchase list. So right click here and then rename purchase, balance and purchase list, enter. As the first cell of this spreadsheet right here, maybe we can go with the product name and we can have here the balance, or we can go with current balance, current stock balance. Okay, let me increase the width of this column, and the next column we can have the minimum stock level. As the product name, we need to input here the same products that we have in this spreadsheet right here. So let's say I have item A, also going to have the item B, the item C, the item D, and so forth, and of course the laptop. Enter. Now to know everything that I purchased and everything that I sold, I can use here a function that is equal sign sum ifs function. Let me double click in this function, 1, 2, and as the sum range, I can use the quantity. So let me select here everything that I have within the quantity column, comma. The criteria range is going to be the product, comma. So my criteria needs to be the product name, the name that I have here to the left, comma. Now my second criteria range can be here again in the inventory, but this time it can be the type, comma. Let's start with the inflows. So here in the formula bar, because it's easier to see, let me click and then open quotations, in, close quotations, and close parentheses. Let me hit enter. Now we're going to have all the purchases quantities that we have in stock for the item A. To do the same thing for the other items, we can simply click at the bottom right corner of the cell, click, hold, and drag down, just like that. However, I also need to subtract here the outflows. So maybe we can copy this function right here. You don't need to select the equal sign, right click, and then copy. Now here, after the parentheses, I can use the minus sign and then right click here. I want to paste. However, instead of using in, I want to use out. Simple as that. Now let me hit enter. Let me bring this formula down, and as you guys can see, item A is equal to 7 units in stock. And yeah, and it's true because I have here 10 units in and 3 units out. So the balance is equal to 7. Exactly what we have here. And now let's do here the minimum stock. Let's say all the items have the same level or the same threshold that is equal to 10. So if an item is below 10, such as the first one, the item A, I need to input this item into the shopping list. And if an item has a number larger than the threshold, the item, the name don't need to appear in the shopping list. So let's say I want to add here maybe a different item, item C, and then I purchase 15 units of this specific item. Okay, let me go back to the balance, and as we can clearly see here, the item C is equal to 15. So now the big question is, how can I create the shopping list? To create this shopping list, first of all, let's select this whole data set right here, and then I can go to insert and then table to transform this data set into a table. Now I want to click OK, like this. I can also go to the Home tab and align in the middle and align vertically and horizontally, like this. Now we can create a insert pivot table. Let's use a existing worksheet. Let's click in this up arrow and then go to maybe this cell right here. Down arrow and then OK. This pivot table that we have, I want to know only the items that I need to purchase. But how can I do it? So let's take first the product name, click, hold, and drag and drop into the rows. Because that way I'm going to have all the items that I have here in my list. Let's click here again in the pivot table. Now to know the items that we need to purchase or to buy, let's go here to the fields, items, and sets and go to calculated field. Into this new window right here, this field one, maybe we can have a difference between the current stock balance, 1, 2, minus the minimum stock level, 1, 2. Okay, so this formula right here is basically going to calculate the difference between this number and this one. Let's say, do you need to buy the first item? Yes, of course, because 7 is less than 10, so you need to buy, or the difference between this number to this number right here is a negative number. So this is why you need to buy, you need to purchase this item. So this is exactly what I'm doing here. Let me click OK. Now, as you guys can see, every time that I have a negative number, it's because I need to buy this specific product. So let me right click in this pivot table here and then go to pivot table options. And let's say I don't need to have the grand total because it's not important for me. So total and filters, I don't want to show grand totals. I also can go back here to layout and I can uncheck the auto fit. Okay. Another thing that I can do is click here into this filter button. And then I want to filter by the values and everything that is less than 0, or everything that is equal to a negative number. Okay, like this. Now let me click into the column G, right click, and then hide, because I don't need to see this column. I can also increase the width of the column F, and as the header, maybe we can have something such as to buy. Okay. Let me click in the cell and then I can go to Home tab, change the background to a red one and the font to a white one. So that's it. I can close this right panel right here. And let's say I want to update the laptop in stock. Currently I have 5 in stock, but if I go here to the first spreadsheet and add another row with the laptop, let's say I already have 5 right here. So I want to add 20 more. Of inflow of $8,000. Okay, let me go back here to the sheet number 2, and as we can see, laptop is equal to 25, so I don't need to buy the laptop anymore. But why, if I don't need to buy anymore, the laptop is appearing here? Because you need to click into this pivot table right here, and then you need to go to the pivot table analyze, and then click into the refresh. Simple as that. And whenever you update your inventory, outflow and inflow, it's going to automatically update this table right here, and you can simply click into the pivot table analyze, and then refresh to know all the items that you need to buy.